then you play it. Tonight's show is brought to you by...
Welcome to another edition of Mike and Scott's BS Session, home of the latest news in the bass fishing industry. So pull up a chair and get ready. This is not your mama's fishing show. Okay, enough of the blah, blah, blah. Here's Mike and Scott.
Woo! Long weekend, buddy.
It is, and I'm back.
You are back.
I took a hiatus.
Well, it was a high something. but you are back. You are back.
Yeah, I almost didn't make it back. That was a crazy trip.
I know it was. Every time you venture away from the nest, we're not sure that you're
You never know.
You never know. I expect to see you one day on TV like, Mike, send money.
yeah.
You know, I'm in jail.
I need to get back home.
I got to get back home.
Locked up abroad, you know.
Oh, no, for sure.
Mind you, I don't venture off into anything too crazy.
No, not that anybody knows about it anyway.
No, exactly. Keep that under wraps.
We got a crazy show tonight, Scott.
We do have a crazy show.
We got a show with a guest that's coming to us
live from the ER room.
From the emergency room at the hospital.
Yeah, that's
This is going to be nuts.
That is a first.
Before we get on the show, though, tonight,
I think it is important that we check in with one of our sponsors.
Yeah, one of our really good sponsors to pay some of the bills. So
let's hear what they got to say.
Let's definitely hear what they have to say.
Bass Cat Boats builds a total performance bass boat that will fit your needs and budget. From the Margay to the Jaguar, Bass Cat will have you covered, no matter your type of fishing or the body of water you call home. For a sure bet on where to spend your hard-earned money, you owe it to yourself to look at Bass Cat. Look them up at www.basscat.com.
Great hull.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell you, we're talking Japanese.
Speaking of a great hull, where's yours? I pulled it in the driveway.
No, it's gone.
It's gone. And you even moved your truck down the street.
I know. I moved myself out of my own house.
Oh, okay.
No, the boat's sold.
The boat's gone. That didn't take long, did it?
No.
It didn't take long. Put the percentage on the Bass Cat.
Really, honestly, I was very, very surprised that it sold so quickly. Not that I'm surprised it would sell that fast.
Right.
But that I actually went through it because now going into the season early on.
And your boat was bank trash.
Yeah, I'm a bank fisherman right now.
You're
I'm a Bass Cat boat that has a boat.
We gotta get a pictures.
Yeah.
We gotta get pictures of you.
I'm gonna
be
hitching a ride. Like anytime I see a big boat by,
Yeah, be like a hitchhiker.
just put the end of the thumb and stick it out there for.
You're gonna be a boat hoe.
I am a boat hoe. Like you.
No, I have a boat.
You have a boat, but you
no
still
boat.
are a boat hoe.
No, but I'll fish in anyway. Anyway, but I have a boat hoe. You're right. So we're gonna have a great show tonight. So on tonight's show, we're gonna do two main things we're gonna do. We're gonna draw the winner of the Navigation app.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Right.
Some lucky listener or lucky fan of the show is going to get an opportunity to have this free app.
Yes, they will. And speaking of apps, I upgraded my iPhone up the other day with the enhanced map thingy.
Okay.
And it's insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes a big difference?
Makes a huge difference. You can put target areas in on your phone, and then I put the navigation enhancement in it. Now I can calculate how long it takes me to go from Cornwall to wherever I want to go.
Right.
Tell me how long, how much gas, how fast I got to go, depending on the speed. This is a crazy app to have. So tonight, we're going to draw three numbers tonight. In case the first number doesn't have an iPhone or doesn't have a buddy with an iPhone, we'll go to the second number, and then subsequently we'll go to the third number. So we're going to draw three numbers tonight, and we're going to get the numbers we're going to draw are the numbers in sequence that the people register.
Okay, I thought we were just going to call out last names or something.
No. I cut up 320, I think there's 321 names. Let me take a look. I cut up.
You're going to make it very difficult for me to cheat.
You can't cheat. That's my point.
You're
not getting it.
You're deliberately making it difficult for me
to
win the app.
That's right. I know. You're not getting it. It's going to one of 321 cards that I got cut up here in the, hold on. In the box.
In the box.
So you will be picking out of there without looking, and we're going to name 3 numbers. That's the order of registration, and we will look into
I don't even know what names related to each state.
Well, that's even better.
I could just pick whatever one.
That's right. And then our good friend Loic will look into the sequence of registration, and he'll start sending emails to people and say, hey, you win.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds great. So that'll be on tonight. And then the other exciting thing that we have tonight, we have a guy, this is the first we've ever had on the show. We have a guy who's in the middle of an FLW event at Lake Eufaula.
Yeah, okay, now you got it.
On Alabama. In Alabama.
I'll keep that one for myself.
Keep that one for yourself.
That was close.
And he is in the emergency room.
Yeah, he is.
Of the hospital, because he got a jig stuck in his leg today.
He got something stuck in his leg. We're going to find out what exactly it was.
And how things went. But he is in the hospital, and that's what's going on.
With a piece of steel in his leg.
Yeah, so he's in the emergency room.
No text yet. What is that?
Oh, you sent it to the wrong number.
No, I sent it to the number that...
No, you sent the text to the wrong number. I gave you the phone number. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting...
Oh, yeah, I sent it to
You sent it to the Russian chick.
I sent it to my plumber.
That's what you call her?
Whoops. How did that happen? That was really weird.
Well, I told her, I gave you... You had Ken's number up. Just do it and paste. Like copy paste.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened.
It's pretty good. You sent it to your plumber.
I sent it to my plumber. Just finished fixing my sink.
Yeah, he's
gonna cancel the plumber.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, by the way.
I sent it to my tenant. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna. So Ken is coming on after 2 days of fishing Lake Eufaula in Alabama. And he's going to give us the deal on what's going on there. But you know something? This guy has got some stones because he's doing it from the emergency room with a jig, a piece of a jig hook stuck in his leg that they're trying to get out. So
they might be digging in.
Yeah, they're definitely.
While we're going to be on the phone with them.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, we don't want to hear a grown man cry.
No, but take
live
a pic.
on the air.
Take a pic.
Yeah.
Like take a pic, right?
Yeah.
Take
Post that. That's got to be posted.
Take a pic and put it up there. So it's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure.
Now, I have something I've wanted to discuss for a while. Now, we've had plenty of debates, one-on-one about this, and there are a lot of real manufacturers out there. Am I correct?
Real, like real?
Like reels.
Oh, reels. Fishing reels.
Fishing reels.
Like real or fake, I thought you meant.
I know. I'll be a little bit more specific.
Oh, this water's cold.
Yeah. Sorry, I got to answer this. I'm doing damage control now.
I know you are. So you want to ask about reels?
No, I don't want to ask about reels. What I want to do is I want to talk about reels.
You're trying to multitask. You're really bad at it.
I don't have boobs.
Did you just say you don't have boobs?
Well, no. They claim they can multitask.
Okay, I'm not saying nothing.
So
you want to talk about? I want to talk about
reels because I've been looking online at all the different manufacturers. There are some manufacturers that have high-end spinning reels.
Right.
There are others that barely have any focus on them whatsoever.
Okay.
Now, I want to know why this is. Do a lot of bass anglers not even fish with the spinning reels?
Well, you know what
What's
I find?
The deal
That's
with
a good point. Because you know what I find? I find
I was talking
south. If you go south, where smallies are not as predominant, I find most guys just throw spinning or bait casting reels. Nobody throws spinning reels. I'll use a company for example. I think the company Lew's, they're called Lew's, Lews.
Yeah.
They make high end bait casters.
Yeah, they make a great bait casters.
They make a $39 spinning reel.
I think their highest end spinning reel like $69.99.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against paying $69.99 for a reel.
No, me either. It's just the point is, it just seems like the farther you go south, they look at you when you pick up a spinning reel. They look at it like, what?
You're sharing your water with Bear.
Yeah, that's okay. Bear, where was your tongue? Oh,
no,
God.
You don't want to know where that tongue was.
God, that was there. Bear, why do dogs lick themselves there? Because they can.
They can, exactly.
Okay, look, you have to.
Given the opportunity, you never know.
Down puppy. There you go. So yeah, I find most of these guys, excuse me, are.
Well, I had a friend,
right?
Actually, who's not even a southerner,
say
to me that fishing spinning reels is for sissies.
What?
Yeah. What is that about?
What is going on there?
Yeah, I don't totally agree because I'm a big fan of a spinning reel.
What do you mean you don't totally agree? That means you don't totally disagree.
No, I don't agree at all.
Oh, okay. So
I'll be more specific.
Right.
Once again,
that's challenging your matter if you fish with a spinning reel.
Apparently, that's what they say. But I don't agree at all. Actually, I fish a spinning reel all the time. I think there's an application for it under many different circumstances. But,
right.
And as for a baitcaster, also baitcaster too. There's a time and a place for everything. I think
most definitely.
And I don't know what your opinion is totally on that.
I find that spinning reels in our area where I fish and in the spots that we fish predominantly are geared for smallies and smallie baits.
But if you think about it too, let's look at it from an objective point of view. A spinning reel offers you the versatility of throwing light lures and just being able to do things
it's
with
more
a
of a finesse rod, right? And that's why I say it's more of a
when you catch
rod.
a 5-pound smallie, you may as well have like a 10-pound largie on the end of your line.
No, for sure. And the rods are different than you're typically fishing with.
Right, but now you're fighting a crazy fish that's super strong, super fast and agile, on this little thing.
Well, mind you, I know a lot of guys that fish jerk baits, swim baits, crank baits, all on bait casters.
Well, I do.
I prefer
a
jerk bait on a spinning reel.
That's where Ben got that idea, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah?
He throws it on a spinning too.
Yeah, I like it on a spinning reel.
I don't like it. I just don't think I get the
same action.
The same action.
But would that be not rod related and not the reel related?
No, I think it's the way that it's held in my hand.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, a spinning reel, you hold it differently.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
for sure. But you throw like what, a 6'10" rod, 6'8" rod for your jerk bait?
Yeah, 7.3.
For jerk baits?
Yeah, 7.3.
Well, that's a long rod for a jerk bait.
Well, yeah, I want to get that thing out there as far as possible.
No, I know.
And the reason for that is
if
I'm fishing a jerk bait,
how do you bring the rod down without putting the tip in the water at 7.3?
Well, instead of holding it at 5 o'clock, I hold it at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but you're like smacking that rod.
I'm
hard.
smacking it to the right or to the left.
You see, I use a shorter rod, like 6'10", with an extra fast, going straight down with it, and with a 6'10" rod, you can do it fine. The 7.3s and the 7.10s I use for my crankbait rods, so softer tips, medium action tips. And I'm just cranking really, really hard. Those I can use a bait caster for.
Okay.
But I find for the jerk baits, I need like really extra fast tips. That the slightest touch will move it, and the bait reacts fine. But it's like as you've seen,
tomato.
Tomato, right? So it's whoever likes what the most.
It's what you prefer. But that's my point. I mean, what makes it better or not as good for one or the other. I mean,
I don't understand why guys don't like them. A good spinning reel performs really well.
At one point I had this conversation with somebody, so I figured, I'm going to try this bait caster thing, and go full into it, and drop shot with it, wacky rig with it.
Yeah.
And it just felt so awkward.
With a bait caster, you drop shot it?
Yeah. You had to reel like a madman to get your fish into the boat, especially when you're fishing 30 feet deep.
Yeah.
Just the handle is shorter. I mean, it's a different.
Yeah.
It's
less
a different
pickup,
mechanic.
right? Yeah, less pickup. Here's the other thing that blows me away with guys that fish with bait casters. They will fish with a right-handed bait caster, but they can fish with a left-handed spinning reel.
What's up with that?
I don't get that. I fish with left-handed both reels.
I fish with right-handed both reels.
Okay, but you're the same.
I'm left-handed though, so I hold. It's like pitching.
Yeah.
I pitch with my left hand. I catch with my right.
Get out. And you reel with your right hand?
I reel with my right hand because my power hand is my left hand.
That's really bizarre.
Why is that so bizarre?
Because left-handed people normally, that's their power hand.
Yeah, I don't need power to reel.
Crank. No,
I need power to hold that rod.
Oh no,
as a cast.
No, that's weird.
What, do you pitch? You're right-handed.
I'm right-handed.
And you pitch with your left hand?
No, I crank with my left hand. So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I crank with my weaker hand.
Yeah,
typically.
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. So you're the right way.
So are you.
But a lot of guys are the other way for spinning reels.
Well, for years I fished with partners that would cast and then switch the rod from the left hand or the right hand to the left hand.
I don't get it.
For me, it never came natural like that. What was natural to me was to actually keep that rod consistently in the same hand.
In the same hand, yeah.
You know, never let it go.
That's it. And when you put a hand on a handle, it's the same hand all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas most guys are crank the bait caster on the right side, crank the spinning reel on the left side.
Yeah, well, maybe it makes them a little bit more versatile too.
I don't know. I don't get it. Everybody's commenting on my photo. I put a picture up on
of gas.
Of gas at $1.15 a liter.
That's crazy.
In
where was that?
In Brossard.
Well,
and it's good till 11 o'clock.
Well, I need gas.
And I'm going after the show. I'm going to get the boat, and I'm filling that mofo with super.
The last time I put gas in my boat,
here's another thing I noticed. We're talking about that kind of stuff today. I filled up the boat last week.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago. It's super.
Right.
Why? I just said I'm gonna see what makes a difference.
Okay.
Because I read some statistics that say that the actual combustion of super is higher. The combustion level is higher.
It's hotter.
It's hotter, right? So it doesn't burn as fast. It takes less gas for the equal amount of power. Well, you know something? I did it, and they're right. I burned less gas doing the same amount of time at essentially the same RPM band using super.
So you were better off, but does the price difference?
Yes, for the difference of gas I used, made it cheaper for me to run super. I did the calculation.
But you run a Dodge. On your boat.
On my boat.
Really?
Yeah. On my boat. So from now on.
Because I tried that in my truck.
Yeah, the truck I don't know, but I know on the boat.
The truck it didn't work.
Yeah, I know on the boat, and I spoke to the guys at Evinrude 3 weeks ago. The engineers at Evinrude. I said, guys, they said, what gas do you run? I told them the octane, that. They said, Mike, try a tank of super, and you tell us, because the way we look at it, you run super in that motor, it gets better mileage. I said, what?
Well, that's interesting to know.
They said you get better mileage, and they said the difference in the mileage costs you less than if you run the regular. Well, I did it, and let me tell you, it took a lot less gas running super.
Well, that's something I'm gonna have to try.
So I'm gonna fill it up again tonight with super. I'm gonna fill it up again tonight. Yeah, when you get next one.
Yeah, one day.
I'm gonna fill it up again with super, and I'm gonna keep running on super until. Let's see. I'm gonna tell everybody on Facebook. Brossard good until 11 p.m.
At that price for gas, we might have Americans coming to us for gas.
Oh, no kidding. Brossard.
Did you spell it already?
No, it doesn't look like I did.
No, I don't know.
Barbosa. BROSSARD.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. So yeah,
that's an interesting tidbit.
Very interesting tidbit. Another little tidbit I had for tonight, Bud, was, as you know, we're associated to the St. Lawrence River Institute, Ministère des Ressources Naturelles, Ministère de la Faune in Quebec.
Yep.
And they have an ongoing investigation as to what's going on with our smallmouth on the St. Lawrence River.
Well, we've been trying to figure this out now for just about a year.
Right. Well,
and,
lo and behold.
We had come to wait. Before you give us the actual, they have answers now.
No, there's no answer.
No answer.
There's still no answer. The interesting thing, though, was that this week, let's see, they're called the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission came out with findings that it's something that's confirmed what we've known for years, basically, that the smallmouth bass in the lower Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania clearly have been sick, all right? Fishermen are finding some of the, covered in black, like, the black spots sometimes you find a fish?
Yeah.
These are huge black spots.
Like the whole fish.
Like half the fish is black, covered in black spots, right?
Which isn't damaging to the fish, though.
Well, they don't know. It's also, they show signs of having both, now here's a kicker, both male and female anatomy. Both. Yeah, E.
I hope that doesn't translate into humans. I mean, that could be devastating.
I don't know. You call, I don't know.
It happens all the time in South Beach, but I'm not sure if it's...
It happens all the time in South Beach. Well, I don't know about South Beach, but I know the Susquehanna, they're still finding, they're still finding fish with both.
You got to be careful with what you say.
With both female and male anatomy,
that's terrible.
Or the fish are dying very young. All right. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission have sought to have the waterway declared impaired, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency last week approved the state's list of impaired waterways, which did not include the Susquehanna. The commission's executive director wants to know how many fish need to be lost in order to declare the waterway unhealthy. So he's pretty upset. Excuse me. He believes that there's nitrogen, phosphorus involved in it, in this ordeal, and that it's a human-induced pollutant, such as insecticide, fertilizer,
like 99% of the problems we have are with our waterways.
Yeah, basically, you got that right.
We are our own worst enemy when it comes to pollution.
Well, yeah, no, for sure. And so, I mean, they're still looking into it, but the Susquehanna smallmouth issue has been going on for quite a few years now. That I've followed it for quite a few years. Okay, that's enough. And get off there, Facebook people.
Just
yeah. And so I took the article, and it's a video. Actually, it's a news report. And I forwarded to our buddies at the St. Lawrence River Institute and the Quebec minister to let them see what's going on in the Susquehanna River. Maybe they can talk to the people up there, and we'll see if anything comes of it, you know. And but hopefully,
well, they're going to compare notes.
Well, I'm hoping they get in touch with them. They start to compare notes because, as you know, last year we had some serious issues going on.
But we have this discussion all the time about what the possibilities are, and it still seems to me like it could be an invasive species, or it could be like the lamprey that is affecting these fish.
I don't know if let me see if I have the article up here.
I mean, that's been debated back and forth.
I know, but
you like saying that word. You've said it like 16 times so far.
Bass video. So yeah, let's see if we have it. Oh, actually, you know what? It's on Facebook, and I think I posted it on Facebook for the link. But anyway, that's what we got to do. So moving right along. If I go to here.
So still no answers to what the problem could be.
No answer.
Nothing concrete.
No answer. Correct. Nothing concrete. Everyone's still studying everybody's crap, right? There's all kinds of excuses. Ooh. Wow. Ooh. Nice fish, eh?
Yeah, gorgeous.
Nice fish. Nice fish. Where is the...
What are you looking for over there?
They had the video down there. Well, I guess it's gone.
You should post a link on our BS session page.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, that's keep an eye open, and hopefully this year we'll get to the end of this, right?
Well, listen, we got Ken coming on in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Before he does,
let's get to.
We're gonna do a draw.
Yeah, let's get to the draw.
Okay. So here's the.
So we're picking how many numbers between?
We're gonna pick three between 301 or 0 and 321.
Well, yeah, okay, between 0.
Right, between 0.
And 322 then, technically. If you're going to say it like that, then you got to go one number up.
Let's go one number up.
But you can't pick 322.
No, you can't. You can't pick 0 either.
It's not in the box anyway.
All right, so don't look. Pick the first number.
122.
What? Oh, okay, 122. All right, hold on. We'll mix them up a little bit more. Okay, go ahead.
See?
Yeah.
98.
98. Register that one. Okay.
And the last number is...
possible lucky winner?
3.
Oh, okay. Good enough. There we go. Those numbers are sent on. Hopefully you're registered as one of those numbers, and you will be contacted by us, and we will be gifting you. I will be gifting you the Navionics iPhone app, and let me tell you something. It is hot. You're gonna love it. It is
a great app that we've been using for years.
You're definitely gonna love it.
For as long as I've had it, or as long as it's been out.
No, for sure.
Because I've obviously been using it as long as I've had it.
That was a pretty dumb statement.
It was.
Did you think about that?
Not one of my brightest moments.
Well, it's okay. We're used to that.
Yeah, exactly. That was too quick.
That was too quick. But before we get there, just a note: if anybody is in touch with Paddle Tails, Ed's having a special on a couple of models of the Lose reels. He's got the Lose Team Golds, I think they're called. Regularly $269.95 for $234.95. That's a substantial saving, and also the laser spinning reel, regularly $44.95 for $31.49.
Back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think Bear just French kissed my water bottle.
That's not the first time.
Yeah, there she is again. Look, what the hell is that?
I think she added me. You know, Facebook is getting a little tricky these days.
Facebook is getting.
There are all kinds of people on there with.
Who's that? Who's this?
With alternative.
Do you know this person?
No. It looks legit. Well.
You don't know.
Did.
You did, yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what's going on with Facebook.
I don't get it.
There's so much stuff going on. You get messages from people, requests, and.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like they're real.
I know. I don't know what to do. So, yes, hook up with Ed on those Lose reels. Those are some crazy prices, and it also includes spooling, by the way. So he'll load up your reel with line, whether it's the baitcaster or the spinning wheel. And but quantities are limited, so if you call and there's none left, too bad. You can hook them up at www.paddletails.com. Ask for Ed. And tell him Mike sent you and Scott sent you from the BS session, and tell him that we told him that he's not allowed to tell you any fishing stories. And that should keep you safe.
That should keep you safe for a while.
If Ed goes off into one of his rants on fishing stories,
you may never get off the phone.
Well, put it on hold and go have a banana split or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's what I'm thinking. So 3 numbers are drawn. Superb. Well done, Scotty.
We have a winner.
We have winners, and we're ready to roll. Tonight's guest is a special guy.
Yeah, well, it's tonight's guest. He's been on the show before.
Yeah, he's no stranger to the show.
No,
right? He's been on the Mike and Scott's BS session before.
Yep.
He knows the drill.
He's been very busy this year. He's been fishing the FLW tour.
Yep.
He's doing pretty good.
He is.
He's
cash
overall.
checks.
He's cash checks.
The man's
overall,
making money.
He's in 27th place.
Yeah.
Which puts him in the running for the Forest Wood Cup, which is, I think, ultimately everybody's goal.
Well, that's everybody's dream, right?
Yeah, you want to get to the Forest Wood Cup.
You want to get there.
And there's 2 events left.
There is.
So I'm curious to what's going on in his head right now. Where is he? Is he thinking about the Forest Wood Cup yet?
I think right now he's thinking about anesthetic.
Yeah, or a shot of rum or something.
He's thinking about anesthetic, and he's going to get up in the morning and go fishing.
I wonder if he got a tetanus shot. It's not. He's going to get one now.
He's going to get one now. I'm sure he's had. I've had him because you've got somebody.
Yeah, but when's your last tetanus shot? And that's something that we should talk about. Is a little bit of safety here.
About 2 years ago.
2 years
ago? Yeah.
I think it's been a while.
Has it?
Yeah,
but they're good for like what, 5 or 10 years? A tetanus
something
shot?
like that. 5 years.
5 years?
What the hell is a tetanus shot anyway?
It's something
what
that
makes you give me a shot?
Ass. That's what it is. It's a needle that hurts your ass.
It is. It's a long needle.
Yeah, the definition of tetanus. But it's going to lay a whooping on your ass.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, I don't understand what it is they're injecting into me that prevents me from getting ill from metal objects.
Well, you know something? Neither do I. But
maybe Ken.
I think maybe
you might know more about it.
Maybe Ken can explain this to us because there you go. That's better.
I know that's kind of
yeah. That's someone you know.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know. She just sent this to me.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, let's bring Ken on the phone.
Yeah, before Ken bleeds out.
Yeah, we don't want him to bleed out.
Ken, how you doing, buddy?
Better days, but it's been an interesting day to say the least. So I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and maybe I can teach you something about tetanus.
Oh, God, Ken, I'm telling you right now, son. Listen, first of all, congratulations on a really, like, so far, a very successful season. You're doing really well. I know last week you got a hook, I think it was in your thumb, and now you've got one stuck in your leg. How are things going?
Well, there's a couple things I think everybody should know. Number one, if you have a friend and they have a Xera spook that they think it's cool to keep on their dash, it's not a good thing to do. So that's where the first one came from. And then the other thing, I don't know that they do it up there up north, but down south I see it quite a bit where they'll hang those big catfish hooks from trees over the banks. And if you go in there and you're not really paying attention and you're trying to get your jig unstuck, sometimes you become the catfish. So I was a catfish today.
Oh,
man.
So the accident wasn't caused by anything really fishing related. You weren't casting, or the jig didn't come flying out of a tree. You were kind of ambushed by a catfish hook.
Yeah, I mean, both incidents didn't really involve fishing whatsoever, other than I was fishing today, and it was kind of interesting. So I've gone, I think, 16, 17 years without as much of a hook in me, and boom, 3 days apart, I'm racing to the emergency room. So
wow.
Well, maybe we should come up with a new concept of Kevlar pants. That might be something.
I think I'd buy it. Well, I mean, there's nothing more helpless than not knowing where your scissors are, dangling from a tree, by a probably about 100-pound test line and a big rusty hook.
Oh my God!
Is these terrible? Yeah, are these catfish hooks, like fishing like that? Is that a common thing where you were, Ken?
Yeah, you see it quite a bit. You do see it. And the other thing that can be kind of interesting that I also had happen is they'll run out like probably let's say 15 to 20 empty Coke bottles, and between the Coke bottles they'll run catfish springs. So if you're racing down the lake and all of a sudden you slow down and you have a big wad of Coke bottles following you, you ran over somebody's trot lines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's kind of like booby traps all over the lake.
Yeah, I'm not going to go skinny dipping tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah. Well, did they manage to get that hook out of your leg yet, or are you still waiting in the ER room?
No, I got the hooks out myself for the most part. The catfish one was a bit rusty, so it kind of broke off, and it was bothering me, so I kind of dug it out with a pair of pliers and a knife on the boat. But it was a little too rusty, so I wanted to go in and have them clean it up a little bit and give me a tetanus shot, which I haven't had for about 10 years. So
yeah, okay.
I wasn't really looking for lockjaw,
So we were asking the question: how long is a tetanus shot good for?
Well, I mean, I really think they said 5 years is about the most that you should go. Now, I don't want to give medical advice without a degree, so to speak, but I kind of inferred from what they were telling me that you should probably have it updated every 5 years or so. And the other thing that's important is you really want to get in there in the first 8 hours. What there is on rusty hooks and nails, there's a little gremlin, if you will. I believe it's just a little tetanus virus that lives in there, and that can wreak some serious havoc on your body, and if not caught in time, actually could be the undoing and the ultimate demise of you if you don't take care of it.
Yeah, I think it can lead to amputation.
Yeah, it can get very, very serious. So, Kenny, we know you're probably sitting there with a chunk of metal in you, maybe.
Most of it's out.
Most of it's out. Okay, it's only shrapnel now. You're on Yakefala down there in Alabama. We know there's Grand Lake left. Lake Chickamauga.
Yep.
Also in Tennessee. That's left after that, and then it's the Forest Wood Cup. I can
you're tongue tied tonight.
Tongue tied tonight. Yeah. Forest Wood Cup down on the Rib River in Louisiana, the Wood River. Right?
Wood River.
Mike's having a difficult time talking tonight.
Yeah, imagine how we're drinking tonight. Holy God.
Maybe you'd come out better.
No, it really would, probably.
But listen, you're sitting in 27th place. We got 2 tournaments left in the season. What's going through your mind now? What are you thinking of next? How's your approach coming into these next tournaments?
Well, I probably slid a little bit here. I didn't have the best finish, so I'm sitting really, really pretty. I was actually kind of really, fortunate to be where I was. They were my weaker tournaments. Grand Lake and Chickamauga kind of figured to be a little bit more my style of fishing. And I'm very excited. I mean, there's a little bit of pressure. Everybody wants to go to, a no-entry fee tournament where you're fishing for $500,000 and doing that only against 50 people or so. So, I'm very, very fortunate to be, where I'm at. And, I pre-fished, or I call it pre-fishing. I made the trip when I was at Beaver. I took some time and spent it on Grand Lake. And I've hit Chickamauga twice as I passed by it. So that lake, Chickamauga, is just it's incredible. I don't know if any of your listeners know, but that's recently they broke the 2-day or the 1-day BFL record, 5 fish, 40 plus pounds for
That's
for
right.
Yeah,
that's correct. We did a
a
little report on that, Ken, earlier in the year when that happened, and it was a pretty amazing bag that those guys brought in. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I stopped there. The first time I ever stopped there, I didn't have a map. I didn't really know anything about the lake. I put the boat in. I don't even believe I fired up the big motor, and I had 20-something pounds.
Really?
Granted, that was really early in the year, and it was easy fishing, but to never be at a lake before and fish it and have that kind of result, that was a great thing.
Sounds like a phenomenal fishery. So going into this, I think the Grand Lake is the first one, and then it's Chickamauga coming up after that?
It's not Chickamauga.
Exactly.
Chickamauga.
Yep. And actually, I'm sandwiching the first Northern ES Open in between that on the James River. So I've got a little bit of a busy and an angry wife, both.
So
what do you know of Grand Lake?
Yeah, what Grand Lake? Never mind Grand Lake. I want to know what Ken. You got 2 tournaments left. You get this one and 2 tournaments left. What's your strategy to make sure you make the big day? Are you gonna sit back? Are you gonna fish conservative, or are you gonna swing for the fence?
No, I'm not going to try to win either one of those 2 tournaments. It really means too much for me to get to the Cup. So I'm really just going for some solid finishes.
Okay.
I might get lucky in there, but no, I'm definitely not going to swing for the fences on those 2 events. It's just too important for me to hit those to hit that championship.
I hear you.
And in this game, 50th place, that pays $10,000. So that's kind of where I'm targeting. If I can be in that 30, 40, 50 for those 2 events, I'll be much more than happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, $10,000 is a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah,
if you can stay consistently in that kind of money, you're doing okay at the end of the year.
Well, that's it. Like you said, and it covers your costs. A lot of your costs are covered, and you're starting to put some money in your pocket.
Yeah, and that's this is the first tournament I didn't cash a check at of these events, and I got here and I just really didn't figure it out. I mean, it changed. It was very much kind of a very post-spawny bite, and a lot of these guys have done a lot of homework on here that I didn't have the opportunity to do with these brush piles and that type of thing. I looked for them, I found a bunch, and that's why I caught a lot of my fish out of. But these guys have been down here for years planting brush piles. So the guys that did good were the locals in this case, in a lot of the cases.
Well, so a lot of these brush piles are man-made in essence. Like people put together these things and they put them out there in the middle of
man-made
strategically located areas. Correct?
Yeah. And somewhat that makes sense. I mean, there's so many old road beds on this lake. There's so many old creek channels that all have rock linings, and the rest of it's kind of soft bottom. So it makes sense where they're put, but to only have 3 days to find a bunch of stuff, it was a little bit too much in this case. I mean, I'm still happy I finished, I think, 90th out of 150 or 160 guys. So if that's the worst I do, which I'm hoping that's the worst I do, I still feel pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll affect your standings, your current standings?
I think it's going to put a little bit more pressure on me, that's for sure. But I think with two top 50 finishes, I should be able to make it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should hook in there. Like I tell you now, Ken, there's a lot of guys up here that are cheering for you. You've been on the show a couple of times now, and you sort of gathered a little Canadian following up here, and they're really glad to see you. You were in about 26th spot, I think it was overall, Scotty.
27.
Yeah,
27th spot, and you've been on the show a couple of times, so guys are getting to know you, and they're following you pretty close, and they're wishing you a lot of luck, and they'll be cheering for you for the last two events.
I definitely appreciate that, and anything I can do, I love the show. I'm still waiting for the sausage that you guys promised me from the last time I was on the show, but I'm sure that
that was a shot at you, Scotty.
Yeah, that was. I completely forgot.
That was a very clean shot over the bow.
Yeah.
Well done, Ken. Ken, well done.
You.
Very well done.
So earlier on, we were discussing a little bit about the differences between spinning reels and bait casters. I've been looking online at the different companies, and I come to find that there are some manufacturers that don't focus on spinning reels whatsoever, and others, make a great spinning reel. What's your take on spinning versus bait casters?
I personally am a bait caster guy. I have 42 rods, and they all have names, and only 5 of those are spinning rods. And they get used very little, but they do have a place. And I have much more control with the bait caster. With years and years and years of practicing, I can skip a Senko as well as anybody with any spin casting outfit that's out there. But for drop shotting, it's an absolute must, in my opinion.
Okay.
And for that and that's big up in your neck of the woods. That's a big deal. Anytime that I get into the real light line situation, that's what we do. But even in the Clear Lakes, like I was fishing on Beaver, everybody was throwing 10-pound, 8-pound, 6-pound. I was still catching as many fish, and in some cases better fish, because I felt the bite. I was using a bait caster, and I was using 20-pound fluorocarbon. That those fish can't see that. I really don't. That's gin clear water, like some of the lakes up north. They can't. I have much more control. I'm not going to break them off.
No, it's funny you say that, Ken, because we mainly use them up here we'll tube fish with them. We'll definitely drop shot with a spinning reel.
Yep.
You can't drop shot with a bait caster. And I was saying to Scott earlier before the show started that it appears to be the farther south you go, the less spinning reels you find. The decks are full of bait casters. Yeah.
And once again, there is really a situational, that you'll use them and you really need to go to light line. But I don't feel like I get less bites as long as I'm using a good fluorocarbon line. I'll step it up and I'll go to a bait caster. But when it comes to visibly seeing a fish on a graph sitting in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 feet deep, and that's how deep I've drop shotted, I will go to a spinning rod just because it's a better way to do it.
It just manages your line a little bit better when you're trying to feel the bottom, I guess, in that deep of water.
Yeah, and you're fishing underneath you in a lot of cases.
Right.
And I think that's just a better, it's a better setup. It's a better fit for what you're doing.
So that opens up a whole new debate whether now we're talking about whether or not bait casters are superior to spinning, but also a line debate, whether line diameter makes a difference, because obviously when we're fishing a spinning reel, you're not going to be fishing anything heavy. I mean, a spinning reel with 14-pound test fluorocarbon is going to be awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And the other thing, too, I do think there's something that I picked up on tour that truly has helped me, that a lot of guys, my friends included, and probably some of the listeners, and one of the things that I've done really well at is in a very, very windy day, I can't cast a bait caster into the wind throwing a light crankbait. And I figured that out by, watching other people do it. if you throw a spinning rod and a little crankbait into the wind, you actually get a pretty good result from doing that.
Really?
It's another application that many people don't know, but definitely helps you on those windy days.
So circumstantial.
Yeah.
Great. Well, good. I'm glad for the insight. That's something that I've been wrestling with for the last little while there. And
well, no, you're great at picking out birds' nests.
No.
You become a pro.
Yeah, well, trying to avoid that altogether. You don't get as many with a spinning rod, that's for sure.
That's for sure. No doubt.
So, listen, Ken, we're not going to take too much more of your time. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us tonight because we know...
We actually appreciate you taking the time post-ER.
Post-ER. And
No, I really truly appreciate it. There's a line of people with gunshot wounds and knife wounds and people with heart attacks, and I walked right up to the front desk and said, hey, I've got to do this radio show, and it's really important. You got to get me in front of these people, and they had me in and out of there in 10 minutes. So, the thank you is to you. So
you got to love the American medical care system.
Well, you passed the fisherman first, right? He's in a tournament.
If you had been in Montreal, you probably would be in the ER until tomorrow morning.
Well, he'd be fishing the rest of the tournament with that steel in
it. Exactly.
That's what he'd be doing.
Yeah, your tetanus shot will have gotten within 5-year time period. They give you that window.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. He'd probably have died of the tetanus illness before he got in. So, that's great.
So again, we want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I know that it's been a hectic schedule for you for the last little while there, and we appreciate it.
No, I definitely appreciate your show, and you guys do a great job. And I definitely have picked up a lot of fans up in Canada. And if you are interested at all on some of the things, I put some pretty neat videos together, and I try and give back a little bit more than I take from the sport, and I do that through social media. So if you're interested in any of my products or any of my sponsors or any questions, I definitely welcome questions via chat on Facebook. And pretty simple to find me, Ken Golub. There's not too many of us out there, and definitely would welcome any questions or anything that I can do to help your show out.
That sounds good.
That's one thing you do very well, Ken, and we've interviewed quite a few guys that are doing the tour and some of the bigger names in the industry right now, but you are definitely right up there as far as your participation and your visibility on the social media.
Sponsor recognition.
Yeah, he does a very, very good job. Ken does an excellent job in establishing that communication with the anglers and his fans. Ken, do you have any specific sponsors you'd like to shout out to there, Ken, before we let you go?
Really, the two biggest, and I'm very, very, very fortunate from the standpoint of I've gotten to pick my sponsors as opposed to my sponsors picking me. So, I made a change to Bass Cat Boats, who, in my opinion, after running this thing for 4 tournaments, I absolutely love my Bass Cat. I think for rougher water, it's one of the best products out there. Allstate Insurance has done great by me, and they have a great product as well, and they stand by your claims and that type of thing too. So, those are my 2 primary, and the rest are also going to be on my social media site. McCoy Line is as long as we were talking about the line, that's kind of become my choice as far as the fluorocarbon. It's much less expensive than some other product, but I've seen how it's made. I understand how they process it. I know the raw materials that go into that line, and they make an ultra high caliber line. And normally I'm supposed to say it's made in the good old USA, but I guess that's the USA is closer than Japan or Taiwan. So give it a try.
No,
yeah,
for sure.
Good. So it is an American-made fishing line then.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They're out of Arizona, and I've met the people that own the company, and they've really taken. They're one of the companies. Like several of my other sponsors, and have actually listened to not only me directly, but when people, tell me things, I pass that back on. Hey, this line twists too much, that type of thing. So you'd be surprised that sometimes the people that make the products that we use aren't fishermen, and they do want that feedback as long as it's in a constructive manner. And I enjoy being a conduit back to these companies to let them know what they can do to improve their products.
No, that's great, Ken. And like I said earlier, you do a great job out there on the social media platform, which I think there's a lot of guys that need to get maybe a bit up to speed with exploiting social media, because you touch a lot of people out there. And as I said, you've been on the show a couple of times now, and already we have people who are paying attention and following you on the tour, and you're more visible now north of the border. So I mean, that's all good for you. It's good for your sponsor and everything else. So
it's always good. I want to make sure that if I walk into an emergency room in Quebec, people know who I am. So
yeah,
I'm sure they will, Ken. Well, you have a good weekend, buddy, and good luck in the last 2 days. We hope you're in there on the last day, and we'll definitely be talking to you before we get to the big showdown.
Absolutely.
The Forest Wood Cup.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you take care, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was nuts, right, Ken? He's been hit with like
poor guy.
It wasn't even with fishing. It wasn't even fishing.
No, a booby trap.
Yeah, a Zara spook on the dashboard of the boat.
A Zara spook, I think, is probably one of the all-time
craziest, stickiest baits you'll ever get.
Bait. Yeah, it's probably caused the most fishing injuries of any bait out there.
Yeah.
I know that I've had a few close calls with them myself. I have a bad tendency, and it's just my reflex. You know when a lure comes flying at you, instead of ducking out of the way,
you want to catch it.
Yeah, I want to catch it.
Yeah, and I've done that too.
It is not a good idea.
It's not a good thing. I've caught a flipping jig.
Let it go by.
Let it go by. Yeah.
I got a jig in my hand the other day.
Oh yeah.
I caught it. And it kind of stuck me, but I got lucky. It didn't go in.
The barb didn't go in?
No.
As long as the barb doesn't go in, you're okay.
No, but I had like a welt from the hook penetrating my finger. Like it lasted a little while.
Yeah.
Maybe it touched the bone.
Remember we were fishing the other day? I had you can still see the scar from line.
Yeah.
Hook setting on line.
That's not a good idea.
That braid will cut your hand like butter.
Oh yeah.
Like butter.
For sure.
Like butter.
So that was nice of Ken to come on the show despite his injury.
Yeah.
Or injuries.
For sure. That's no doubt. What do we have to get out of here? Actually, some upcoming events.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
May 19th this weekend, the Big Pike Challenge on the St. Lawrence River. I think it's sold out.
It is. It's over 30 teams.
Yeah, it's sold out. We have no more measuring boards. This is a
get to Reno. You got to go to Home Depot. Make some more boards.
You can't make some more boards. It's a catch and release tournament because nobody can fit a big pike in their live well, right?
Nobody wants to put a pike in their live well.
That's another good point. You'd stink the hell out of your boat.
Yeah, you can fit them in my bass cat. Well, in my ex-bass cat.
Well, it wouldn't be a winning pike.
Yeah, they're pretty wide from corner to corner. Those triangular live wells are very, very.
You're talking like a 4.5 foot fish.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
That's what I mean. Those usually you need at least one good fish to win this event. It's been going on. We've had it going on now for about 3 years, and we're having a ball. The fish are measured on a plank. Pictures are taken. The pictures are brought back.
I'm taking the title again this year.
You think so?
I didn't go practice. And I am fishing from the bank, but
I don't want to say the odds are against you.
The odds.
But
I'm fishing to win.
If you win it this year, I'm buying dinner. Okay? If you win it this year, I'm buying dinner.
This is on the air. You realize you said that on the air.
Yeah.
It's recorded.
That's right.
It's embedded.
That's right.
All right. I'm going to hold you to it.
Hello, welcome to McDonald's. What would you like? No, it's going to be a lot of fun. That's on Sunday, May 19th. 30 teams will be out there flinging steel, looking for the toothy critters. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Only this year, we're launching at a Point aux Trembles, 36th Avenue, Point aux Trembles launch.
Isn't that Repentigny or is that Point aux Trembles?
Is it Point aux Trembles or
I don't know.
Oh, it's Repentigny, Point aux Trembles.
Yep.
36th Avenue. Go to www.fishingcanada.net for more details if you want to show up. We're going to be taking some crazy pictures of this event, and we're going to be having a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it is full, though. There's no more
teams.
Look. They're not taking any more teams.
They can go look. Last time I looked, it was full, but maybe somebody dropped out, and you still get a shot to get in. Go, go, go.
Yep.
Go.
Check it out. Only 2 days away.
That's right. That is right. Sponsor, recognition. Oh, and actually, shout out tonight.
Yeah.
Let's do the shout out tonight.
Well, I'd like to shout out to Jim Van Ryan.
Yeah.
My rod glove order I just am waiting to click send. I just haven't done it yet.
You got to push it.
Yeah, I got to push the button.
Waiting.
I'm going to send that over to him.
I spoke to him. He's waiting.
And also Power Pole.
Yes.
My Power Pole
Kurt and
order
Lenny.
has been processed. Yeah, the order is already. I think they're already at Basket.
They are at Basket.
Yeah,
I checked.
You did check, yeah. Super.
I take care of you.
I know.
I take care of you.
So I'm very happy to see that, and I look forward to seeing the new poles on the back of the new cap.
They're gonna look sick. 2 blades.
It's gonna be crazy.
Woo!
It's gonna be crazy.
Gonna look sick. Also, Jean-Marc Desrochers and Diane Desrochers. Jean-Marc is my grass guru, sans aucun défi.
You know,
he's the guy. He's my grass guy.
You're a grass guy?
He's the guy.
I thought you gave up the grass a long time ago, like in the 60s or 70s.
that was harder narcotics.
Okay, I see.
That was post Woodstock, right?
I see.
Anything you do with my grass, I talk to Jean-Marc. Jean-Marc's my guy, and Jean-Marc is the honorary St. Croix Pro Staff, and does a great job representing pro staff around the town. So shout out to Deanna and Jean-Marc. Also, Jill Johnson, who's a new grandmother this week.
What?
Yes, little girl named Chelsea.
Wow.
Welcome.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, Ben and Bianca.
Yeah.
Ben is Jill's son, and Bianca is obviously her daughter-in-law with the newborn Chelsea. So Jill is becoming granny this week and having a lot of fun doing it.
Another future fisherman.
Fisher person.
Yeah,
fisher person. Cynthia Bichette and Pierre Ouellette, obviously. Cynthia does a great job keeping us out of the weeds. And between her and Jill and Pierre and everybody down at BRP, we got a nice tent for the event this week and a whole bunch of good stuff.
Did you figure out how to open that thing up yet?
I practiced.
You practiced?
I did a practice.
All right,
it works great. Steve, the boss man Bosley from Basscat. Steve-O, stay out of the weeds, buddy. Stay out of trouble.
And get your fishing poles ready. We got a tournament to fish in June.
Yeah, you got a tournament to fish in June.
Yep.
Rachel Chouinard of Navionics and Rich Lauer, thank you very much for your support.
We got a winner.
Yes, we do. We got a winner for the iPhone app, and that'll be going out this week. Scott over at Zico Shoes. I got my Zicos on right now. I live in these things. I live in them. These are great shoes. I love them.
They're super comfortable. I spent all day on the water with them the other day.
Yep.
And honestly, very, very comfortable.
They're nice, eh?
A lot of the shoes, I had these Solomons that I fished with for many, many years.
Sore bottoms.
Sore bottoms.
These are the bombs.
At the end of an 8-hour or 10-hour day on the water, you know, you don't want to have sore feet.
No.
And
we got a winner. We got a winner.
Keep you comfortable.
Zicos are the one. You can order them. Actually, you can order them right on the link on www.fishingcanada.com.
Ever since you got your Zicos, I got to say, you're not afraid to jump in the water.
I'm not.
You've been in and out of the water more than I've ever seen you.
I have.
Like, normally you tiptoe close to the edge and
like a girly man,
you climb onto the edge of the trailer.
Like a girly man.
You just walk right in.
Yeah. I'm a man now.
Yeah,
I got Zicos.
Apparently.
I got my Zicos on. Sponsor recognition tonight. Claude Caston, Gabe Benoit, Bled, Derek Lemieux, Maple Grove Marine.
Whoa.
A sad note this week. Our good friend Pierre, mechanic Pierre at Master Mechanic at Maple Grove Marine passed away.
He did, huh?
He passed away on Friday.
Son of a gun.
There will be a service on Monday, I believe in Lachine or either Lachine or LaSalle. He's going to let us know. And I'll be going to attend that and giving my respects to Pierre and his wife and his family. We
should head down to together.
Yes, most certainly. K-Way Outdoors, get protected with the elements and not taking a lot of space in your boat. And Sims Baits.
The baits of glory.
Navionics, making sure you get back on both land and water. And Power Pole, nothing holds your boat stronger than the Power Pole anchors. Mustang Survival. They save lives for a living. Well, my friend, where's the show available, Scotty?
You can find us on iTunes in the podcast section. You can find us also on Stitcher, Smart Radio mobile app, blogtalkradio.com, fishingcanada.net, and the WRVO network. You can also find
network.
Radio network.
You have to say radio.
Radio.
You told me.
Radio, okay.
Radio network.
WRVO Radio
network. Located at
Reno Viola Outdoors.com.
Did you see he's got a new wrap on his truck?
I did see that,
Reno's balling.
He's
balling.
He's a high roller.
He's balling.
Yeah, he is.
I'm telling you right now.
Good.
I'm telling you.
Well, we're starting to see a little bit more of him now. He's back.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah,
he's out. I think he was out fishing today in Cornwall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now he's coming a little bit close to our area.
Yeah. I think
he's pushing it.
We got to buzz his boat a couple of times.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that, yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Well, we'll be able to buzz his boat pretty good. We'll see.
I think so. I think so. And we're also available on Spreaker.com.
Yeah, Spreaker. Find us on Spreaker. Spreaker's blowing up.
It is. Look for Fishing Canada Radio.
Yep.
They also have a mobile app, by the way, which is sick. It works really, really good.
Yep.
Really, really good. You have the outtake music there, by the way.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It
well,
is.
did we want to play another?
Yeah, before we leave,
we didn't take a commercial break.
We're gonna take a little commercial break, and we're gonna play something before we say goodbye to everybody tonight.
Yep.
Got my power pole down.
At Power Pole, we know that sport fishing requires the ability to stop your boat and work an area quickly and quietly. Nothing stops your boat faster, safer, or quieter than Power Pole anchors. Our hydraulic technology delivers superior anchoring. The unbelievably fast action means you can stop as soon as you see a fish and hook one without any concern for stress on your transom, even in heavy wind and current. The only stress you'll feel will be on the other end of your line. Power Pole, rugged flexibility that will change the way you fish.
There you go.
That's it.
What else can you talk about? Hydraulics versus mechanics. It's no contest.
No, it's a no-brainer.
It's no contest.
And it's the amount of components. You know, the Power Pole doesn't have all that many components that can go wrong. There's nothing really on there that'll fail.
That's it. And like, if you forget to bring it up,
just
drive
away
away.
with it. It'll be there when you get back.
That's right.
You know, when you stop.
That's right. Lifetime guarantee on that little pin.
Yeah. You might feel a little silly.
Yeah.
But at least you will not have dropped,
You might look a little
water.
stupid. What the hell is this?
She's getting a little frisky.
What is that?
They're at dance lessons.
Hey.
Yeah, no words to describe.
Yes.
Well, listen, thank you all for listening to the show tonight.
Yeah.
And thank
if
you
did
again.
Listen tonight, thanks for listening to the recording.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks in advance.
Thank you in advance. If you listen to the recording and download the show, we will be back next week with
the results from the Big Pike Challenge.
Definitely. We will also have next week.
Yes, we got a guest.
We got Davey Height.
Yes, sir.
We're not messing around, and we got Kurt Hill from Power Pole coming on to give us a little product preview, my friend.
Sounds good to me.
So we will see you all next week for Mike and Scott's BS session out of the garage in a local town that we cannot reveal, because if we do, we'll have to kill you.
Yep. Tight lines, everybody.
All right, that's a wrap.
This one's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can subscribe on iTunes, the WRVO Network, Spreaker.com, www.blogtalkradio.com, and www.fishin-canada.net. See you next time for another BS session.